All right, we'll begin with roll call.
Commissioner Mark Mazzoni,
Yep.
Commissioner Martin Nicholas,
Here.
Commissioner Brian Palmer,
You bet, here.
Chair Daryl Parham.
Present. Okay, so this is the point where we move on to non-agenda public comment. If there was any public to make a comment that is not on the agenda, now would be the time. Even the crickets are silent tonight, so we'll move on to any conflicts of interest, Article 4.
No.
All right, there are no conflicts of interest. So now we'll move on to our regular agenda. Our item here is the tree cutting permit for family truck repair at 600 North Weed Boulevard. And we'll begin with staff report.
Yeah, staff was unable to make it. He sends his regards. He's hoping you have all had a chance to read his report, is what he's hoping. So since I have to deliver it, I'm hoping that as well. So this agenda item is to review a tree removal permit for family truck repair at 600 Northweed Boulevard. On May 4th, the Planning Commission, along with the Director of Public Works, toured the site. The application states that there is an estimated number of mature trees on the property of 2, and they would like to remove 2. Staff recommendation says the staff recommends denial of the tree cutting permit. After review of the property on 5/4 and 5/11, it was determined the removal of all trees listed on the subject property to be unwarranted. They go on to further state that the Planning Commission may choose to approve the tree cutting permit if they decide. The determinations below, they're stating fail to be supported. Trees that were removed, to prepare the site for the applicant's approved building. The trees in question now were not deemed to be of any issue, whether it be fire or visual at that time. Conditions of approval, it says to be determined by the Planning Commission if approved. And then it goes on to discuss the Muni Code.
Thank you. All right, now we will go on to proponents of the project.
I'll go first. Okay, so I'm JP Pearson, and this is my wife Natasha Pearson, and we both together own Family Truck Repair at 600 Northweed Boulevard. When somebody asked if there was maybe a conflict of interest, I do have 2 papers I'd like to submit to each one of you guys. If that's possible, I can either walk up there or this nice lady can give them to you.
Where are they?
This is our arborist report that I paid to have done. And this is, you asked how busy I was. In the last 6 years, May 4th, you guys came out on my birthday to do this. May 2nd was my 6th year in business. I've had over 5,000 customers, and every one of them paid me more than $144 a day like my last employer did. So maybe there'll be a conflict of interest here. Out of 5,000 customers, nobody's ever, I've either got a 0, a 1-star, or a 5-star. I've done nothing but do my best for every customer between Shasta Lake and the Oregon line.
What does that have to do with the tree?
Well, I'm getting to that point. Every single person has given me a 5-star review or a 1-star, because I've told them, sorry I couldn't help you, and I pointed them somebody else's direction. And then on May 4th, everybody came out, looked at my building, told me there's no fire danger here at all. And then on May 9th, I get a review from Mark Mazzano.
You got
3
it
star,
for me.
3 stars, so maybe there's a conflict of interest here.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know.
Well, did we work on your
That's what I was
truck?
Can I finish? Maybe there's one here, maybe there's not. Maybe you guys could take a look at it and give me your opinion. I asked for a kind response because I've never worked on any of his vehicles. So where is the,
Dude, what is that? Seriously, because I gave you a 3-star?
But what was that for?
there's no response. Everybody told me I was the best person they've ever met. I helped them out the best I could, or I told them, sorry I couldn't help you, maybe the other guy can do a better job. But
I
I've
would never plan on using you.
But why would you rate
You want me to
us our
redo it and I'll put a
service?
forward
It's our
star on
review
it?
This is a conflict
service.
of interest, obviously. He has something to
Yes.
do with me.
Bitterness.
There's no reason
No,
for
you
you
know
to
what?
even.
I don't have anything to do with you. It's how you treated when we got there.
Okay, well,
Period.
we did not fix a truck of yours, and this is our
That-
business,
You want me
family
to
truck
step down
repair.
from it? I have no problem with that.
Well, it
Here, I'll
was just
step down.
conflict, that was
I'm not
it.
gonna have
All
this
right,
guy.
let's call point of order.
Okay, okay.
Let's move on to the
Yes, sir.
arborist report here.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Can
sir.
she read it?
Jesus.
That's ridiculous.
Yes.
ridiculous.
May I read this arborist report to you?
Please.
Please.
The arborist report, attention Weed City Council, on April 15th, 2022, Dale Nova, certified arborist and European forester for Able Tree Service and Nova Vital Natural Resource Management, visited the JP and Family Roadside Truck Repair Shop located at 600 North Weed Boulevard, Weed, California, and owned by Jeremy and Natasha Pearson. The purpose of this arborist visit was to evaluate the negative fuel loading of present tree growth that impacts the level of fire-safe conditions of the subject's property. This arborist noted at least 13 conifer trees in close proximity to the JP shop, ranging from about 12 to 50 feet and from 6 to about 16 inches in diameter at breast height. This arborist has been in the leadership of Mount Shasta Area Fire Safe Council and the Fire Safe Council of Siskiyou County since 2002. Additionally, he has helped co-author many successful fire safe grant proposals, plus help plan to manage numerous fuel reduction projects in the area, including the 2013 College Project, endeavors that have helped bring millions of dollars into South County, providing many jobs. This arborist not only noted approximately 12 ponderosa pines and incense cedar trees growing on the Pearsons' property, inside Caltrans I-5 freeway northbound ramp, off-ramp, and also between the Pearsons' main shop building and its northwest security fence. Additionally, there may be about 7 more ponderosa trees on Caltrans' administrative fence sides that a property survey may prove belongs to the Pearsons. All of these conifer trees are very highly flammable, with resins, oils, and turpentine contributing to explosive fire potential. And in the wrong conditions, possible
Bad fire.
yes, such as that of Bowles Fire. Given the fact that CAL FIRE has determined that the city of Weed is within a high potential fire severity zone, is cause for much more concern, along with the strong history of vehicle ignition adjacent to I-5 in the South County. Combined with years of drought, the Weed area is now rated extreme drought by NOAA. My client respectfully requests approval from the city of Weed to remove these high potential fire hazard risk trees as soon as possible at the owner's expense. As a mitigation measure, Mr. Pearson agrees that for every conifer tree that is removed, each will be replaced with 3 trees with fire-resistant characteristics, as in dogwood, aspens, western road bud trees, could be planted, offering fire-resilient color, aesthetics, and beautification to the location. The California Public Resource Code requires a minimum radius of 100 feet defendable space around all permitted structures, with Zone 1. Within 30 feet of permitted structures, required to be lean and clean and of flammable vegetation. Assembly Bill 3074 passed into law in 2020. Now adds new regulations for an ember resident zone. In addition to the 100-foot radius of defendable space from all permitted structures. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns regarding this report, please do not hesitate to contact this arborist. Sincerely, Dale Nova.
All right, do you have any other further information to present?
Cal Fire told me that I can cut down any tree on my property, and as long as it goes in the wood stove, I don't have to file this other report here.
And this is from Peter L.
Yeah.
Feller.
And we also sent all this stuff, the arborist report, to Michael Cobsteff, to Battalion Chief Kent Cunningham, Cal Fire Siskiyou Unit, and Peter LaFleur. He already gave me the permission, and John, also your guys' sign-off guy, he told me I could cut down the trees, and then came back a week later and told me he couldn't. I couldn't. So then I called Cal Fire to ask for a report. Not only did I pay $4,000 more in fire insurance this year than I did last year, that my fire insurance wants 100 feet from my shop to be cleared.
Then you can't replant trees then.
Okay, fire-resistant trees, bro.
Yes,
Okay.
dogwoods.
Dogwoods don't burn. Whatever beautiful little trees can help the environment and keep my property safe. A good fire barrier in between me and the trucks that are exploding on I-5, you know, it would be just gratefully appreciated. We've brought a lot of money into the community, and we've helped a lot of good people. We help people over at the Crystal Geyser Water Plant. We help people at the Dunsmuir Scales, anywhere from the Oregon state line to the Nevada state line. We've had firefighters come in, good dudes, helped out a lot of good people. That's why I didn't mean to get confrontational with Mark Mazzano, but,
Mazzoni.
okay,
Excuse-
Pearson, Jeremy, I apologize, it's just my business, and I care a lot about my business, and I didn't get no response, but I apologize for my actions. I'm trying to be a better Christian man and be a good example of people in this community. And she talks a lot better than I do.
Okay,
I guess
Yes,
that's it.
that's,
Well,
all right, well, do we have any opponents in the audience tonight?
No, just one staff rebuttal, whether or not there is a harvest plan done by CAL FIRE or approval by CAL FIRE, the city has its own tree ordinance, and that has to be followed as well. So CAL FIRE may give you a permit, but if you are within the city of Weed, you have to still have a tree cutting permit from the city and approval from the planning commission.
Okay,
I have a question. How many feet from the freeway are you? All those trees from the opera? I own property along the highway, you already know that. So how many feet are you from the state property?
I'm 60 feet from the corner of the highway, from the corner of the off-ramp.
Okay,
There's
so-
60 feet from my fence line to the stop sign.
Right. So you're 50 feet from the stop sign.
There's 60 feet in between the 10 feet outside of the fence at Caltrans. That 10 feet out there, the last report I did was my property, but I don't have that information here today. I'm gonna have to have another dude come out because when I put the front fence up, I was only worried about that front line. So I brought the fence 10 feet off of my property line.
You're fine.
So, you know, that whole corner, you know, if the fire comes down that highway, just like I was explaining to these guys when they were out there, I didn't mean to come off wrong when I said when the fire comes and jumps tree to tree to tree, every 5 foot I have distance away from my property, those trees are just gonna jump, just like this arborist said. And my place is gonna burn down, you know, possibly, not there's gonna be a fire, anybody's gonna start a fire, but when those trucks are trying to make it to my shop off of I-5, they just drag their brakes all the way there. And then they pull off in that little section right there looking for family truck repair because they can't see my signs because of trees, and the truck catched on fire. There we are all today.
So I have a question for staff before we go into further discussion. This, Assembly Bill 3074, does that supersede city ordinance, or does city ordinance supersede that bill? I'm not, the one that Arborist is mentioning here about the 100-foot defensible space.
My understanding from a conversation with CAL FIRE regarding a different tree cutting permit that they were doing a harvest plan on is no matter what approval CAL FIRE has given, because they are within the city of Weed, they must follow the city of Weed ordinances.
Okay, so that would include the California Assembly.
And I have a question. City weed ordinance on tree removal says anybody with property that has trees in their property may remove 1 to 2 trees a year for personal firewood. It's in our ordinance, is it not?
That is part of it is part of the ordinance that they can do tree cutting, but that was not what the application was for. The application was for fire protection and for signs.
So if these people would go to city weed, do a tree harvest permit, would not they be allowed to take 2 trees?
I was not staff that went with them, so you'd have to discuss it amongst yourselves of what the conversation was.
Did you understand what I just said?
Yes, I just fix trucks for a living, so when I filled out this.
Don't come in for a war if you don't have one.
And actually, that's exactly what I asked your wife that day. Do you want it for a tree removal for fire, or do you want one for your signage? And that's what I asked, and she said signage. And you know what? I took the time after, if you think that I'm down on you, I've been driving up and down that freeway looking to see what needs, and to be honest with you, if you want signage, it's on the side of your building. All that row that you said you wanted out, that would be the best place to put a sign from where I could see it. And the one tree that you want to move out in your corner, the other 2 trees are the one that's blocking it. So I did check it out. I have nothing personally against you. I don't know you. But that's what we discussed, your wife and I. No, go ahead, say what you need to say.
Like I said, I just fix trucks for a living.
I understand
So
that.
when I was filling out that report. It is true.
Chairman, can I have you up to the microphone, please?
It is true that if you were, like you said, driving all around and you've seen this, I don't get any traffic by Motel 6, very little. And the traffic I do get is F.V. Martin, who has a huge shop in Oregon, and a couple other loggers that all work on themselves. But if you look at I-5 and you're coming south off of I-5, correct? And you're coming over that overpass.
That's what I'm looking at.
You can't see my shop.
I can see bits and pieces of it, but I'm telling you, on I-5 going southbound, on the side of your shop, right? Would be the west, off the freeway, those trees that you said, hey, I want to clear all those trees up the side. Remember that, Darrell, when he was talking about that?
But my point was, is if he goes to the city of Weed to get a regular tree moving permit from the city of Weed,
You would have to ask the person who approves those, which would be the Director of Public Works.
that's correct. If the public gets a permit, he's allowed to remove 2 trees a year off his own property, no matter how many trees he has. That is in our own tree cutting permit. So if he went to city of Weed and got a permit, on the permit, I believe it would tell him that he's allowed to cut the trees down without asking us.
All right, well, I'd like to keep the discussion on this particular request here.
Question for staff. Has our city arborist had a chance to review this application?
Not that I'm aware of, I believe, no. I do not believe he's done a site inspection.
Lindsay?
Yes.
Correct.
Don't you feel that's appropriate for him to do?
Yeah,
I
I mean,
would
you
think
could,
that would have been something done right off the bat.
probably should have.
We have a city arborist, and we probably should have had him involved with the site inspection when that was done.
I agree.
Yep.
So that's a lesson learned for the city.
When you guys were there, I was just trying to, before I've been told that I was asking for forgiveness, not permission. So in all honest truth, I was just trying to be honest with you guys about that I am worried about fire danger. The fire came through my house. The lava fire just about took out my house. Everything I had got brought to the shop. And I couldn't help firefighters because I was too busy worrying about the lava fire on my back door. So I was trying to be honest with you guys about what I wanted. I need fire prevention, and yes, I would love to put a big fat sign on the back of my shop, which this lady already said I could. Put the signage up on the back of the shop, which I'm picking up Friday, and I've spent more money on signage than I did my first 3 cars. And I was being honest with these gentlemen there that my true worry is fire danger. I have oxyacetylene tanks in that shop. I have service trucks in that shop. I have welding supplies in that shop. I have $50,000 worth of parts in there so I can help customers. I was honestly trying to keep my business safe and not burn down everything I own. And yes, honestly, I need to be a little bit more busy before Love's comes in, before the other shop. That's another reason why I got slightly upset, is because when somebody rolls into my shop and says 2 other big truck shops are coming in and I can't put a sign up, I took it offensive. I apologize to you. I apologize to you. I need to be a little bit more busy because I'm one man. I can keep myself busy. But I have 2 other boys behind me that are family truck repair. And sorry, but we live in a weed community where the football team, I'm sorry, but when there's only 2 good players on it, they're not going to go to college. They're not going to go to the NFL for football. They're going to end up changing tires on the side of the road with me. Neither one of them want to do that. But I need to be a little bit more busy to keep my family fed. Like Brian said, it's just getting worse out there with other tow companies coming in about halfway in between Reading and here. I'm sure Brian understands what I'm talking about. But if 2 other shops come in and I can't get that fish off the highway, okay, that we're talking fishing, right? If I can't get them to stop before Love's, you guys are, not you guys, but everybody around is just putting me out of business.
No, and I understand what you, I understand what you're saying. I did from the time I walked on there. I understand what you're saying. And I'm trying to tell you that I'm trying to help you out here, saying that the 6 trees that you wanted to remove on the side from the highway going south, I looked down there, I'm thinking that would be the perfect spot to put that sign. Because the one tree that you want to move in the very back, you know, the one, I mean, whatever, if that's what you think is going to help, that's your call to make. I think the other 3, remember I asked you, do you own those 3 out there? And you said, no, that's Caltrans. Those are the ones that I went, those are the ones that are screwing you up, are those 3.
And according to my last survey, 10 feet off of that fence is my property. Now I'm trying to get through the argument here today, and then I'll pick a fight with Caltrans. But
You
today,
don't have to pick a fight with Caltrans. What
I'm not,
trying to tell you-
I don't speak exact clear English, bro.
What I'm
I'll have
trying
to submit to
explain you
them.
before this started was Caltrans is doing a removal of 70 feet, 70 to 120 feet of all trees off Interstate 5, down Interstate 5 all the way. If you got a hold of Caltrans, you might be surprised.
I have talked to the crew there, I've talked to the
Did
head.
you go talk to the guy from Sacramento cutting down trees?
I talked to the CAL FIRE gentleman,
you
he
will.
called the head dude for Caltrans there. That's why they're in there trimming all that stuff underneath there for me, because I called them and asked them for help. Yet my next stage is, just like you said, Brian, to call the state of Sacramento for this, or however you say it, but, you know, just like this gentleman
Well,
about the
honestly-
signs, it's my business. It's what I feel I need to better my business, not what you feel I need. My signs coming, just like the ma'am said, I could put signs up on the back of my shop, as long as they are secured safely. Okay?
You can put it wherever
You
you
don't
want.
understand, nobody's arguing with you.
Yeah, you can put your
You're
sign,
making your own
but,
argument.
no, you're not, you're
Okay.
missing my whole explaining to you.
Yeah, you're
I'm
making
trying
your
to
own argument.
help you and you think that I'm trying to undercut you.
I just didn't understand.
Remember,
you don't.
do you understand what I'm saying? Does anybody?
Yeah, I do. He's on your side. You got to win it.
All right, so I want to go back to the matter at hand on the agenda here, and that is the permit request for these 2 trees.
On the arborist, the city does not usually send out the city arborist due to expense unless we know that there is an arborist report that needs to be reviewed. That's why the commissioners and staff go out. I don't believe staff or you were informed of an arborist report, so it's up to you guys if you want the city arborist to review this before you make a decision.
Then I had one more question for you, Vegas. If he goes to the city, he gives them their $10, and makes that a tree moving permit for firewood, is he not allowed to take 2 trees off his property every year?
It's gonna be a decision for the Director of Public Works, not me.
That's correct. So the chances are yes, but he hasn't gone to the city of Wheat to get a permit to remove it, has he?
You have the permit in your packet.
Exactly. So is he allowed to move 2 trees without asking us?
Staff sent this to the Planning Commission.
So what we
What
need
he's-
to,
What he's asking for is to remove them for fire prevention.
Correct.
What you're talking about is a different excuse for doing that, right?
My
This is for
sense is
fire
easier.
prevention.
so,
Yes, it is,
so
but
we
it's not
need to
before us.
discuss and make, and
Okay, go for it.
entertain a
You're right.
motion if we believe is necessary for this specific request.
I believe what's necessary is that the city's arborists review this report for accuracy. I don't know this guy, I don't know the information that's in this. And how do we make a judgment off of something that these people have paid for themselves?
True.
Is there any further discussion?
With that?
So in reading through here on the municipal code, section B, it says the necessity to remove the tree in order to construct public or private improvements which allow economic development of the property. Now, I understand there's been some discussion before, in our on-site evaluation with the Public Works Director and other commissioners about why that wasn't done at the time that the building, was erected in the initial permitting, process for that. Looking at all of the different options here, I mean, there's no black and white, right? Because we have a gentleman who, and his wife who have a property right to their property, and we have a city, municipal code that the stakeholders and the citizens of the city have a right to as well. And so there's a conflict here. Now, I was one of the commissioners that did the on-site evaluation, and the original, discussion was about removing all of the trees for fire prevention. The concerns that were stated during that review, where that Weed is a tree city, and that we want to try and keep as many trees as possible, as such, intact. Now, what I'm seeing here is I think a compromise where they're asking to remove 2 trees that would give them what they believe would be visibility for their signage, as well as to be the 2 trees closest to the building for fire danger, as well as their arborist, is suggesting the replacement of those trees with other trees that are less of a fire danger. And so if there's no further discussion from the commissioners, I would, propose a motion to approve the tree cutting permit for these 2 trees with the additional conditions that the 2 additional trees that are not of a fire danger be planted in their place, with all of the, all intent and actions toward maintaining those trees that they survive and thrive. I think that is a compromise between the fire danger issue, the signage issue by relocating 2 trees into additional place, as well as what the stakeholders and the citizens of the city expect as a tree city to maintain the number of trees, in the city. And so I will put that motion forward if, for discussion.
I'm stepping down as far as making a vote because of what's going on right here.
You don't have to.
No, I'm gonna be fair to them, because either way I vote, it doesn't matter. So if I vote no on it, then it's because I have something personally against them.
You feel good?
To discuss your motion, we need a second.
Say it again, what?
We need a second motion.
To discuss his motion, we need a second.
You got a second.
Okay, and we'll move on to discussion.
I've already stated what I felt we need to do. I think it needs to be tabled until the next meeting, at which point Menzies has an opportunity to review the site and review this report and give us the guidance. Rob Menzies has been part of this community as an arborist for many years, and we've relied on him for information, and I think we should do that at this point.
I will state that I am not an arborist, and I do not have a lot of experience and background in such
No,
matters.
Lindsay?
Rob Menzies.
Yeah.
Bob Menzies.
would it kill anybody if we put this off and let him go have a look?
I've stayed.
If you want to make a motion to table for arborist review, we can entertain that motion.
We need to deal with your motion
Okay.
first.
Well, we have a motion and a second, so I guess we need to put it to a vote. And if we want to move on to tabling, then we would vote against it. So I would say all in favor?
This is the motion to remove 2 trees and.
With
have them
replacement
plant
of
trees.
two additional trees.
So we need to vote on that one first
Yeah.
before we vote on the motion to table.
So,
I'd like to have it, and myself, also the reason I'm not, because I believe he's within the state realm. I own property along 89, 97, everybody knows it, there's no secret about it. I have 125 feet to my fence away from 97, and the state still can come in and make me remove some more trees behind my fence. So if I have 100 and something feet, we probably don't have a say-so in
Well,
what he's doing.
at this point,
If we do, then we'll have to get our own Caltrans permit. Caltrans is, how many feet is Caltrans allowed?
so at this point, we need to vote on the motion.
Vote for it?
So it's a yes or no.
Yes. It's not,
So-
has nothing to do with what you're talking.
You can vote yes
Well, no,
for the go forward or vote
We have the
no.
right to vote on it.
Currently, the way it sits with the city ordinance and the proposed permit, yes, we need to make this vote, yes or no.
Well, if there's only 2 of us, 3 of us, we're kind of in trouble, aren't we? So I'd say the vote would be to table it until the arborist has a chance to look at it.
So we need to vote on the motion that was proposed. So you can say no to the motion and then go for a motion to table, or you can say yes to the motion for removal of
Okay, this
conditions.
one, okay, I'll go, let him cut down trees, do that. You're not,
Yes,
on my motion. Yeah.
Okay,
No.
and a no. And I made the motion. I'm gonna defer on that motion and vote no, and we need to discuss the arborist opinion on that.
So then I make a motion that we table to the next meeting, at which time Rob Menzies be contacted and asked to review this application.
Now, okay, I'll second that.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, I'll vote on that we table to the next meeting so we can have an expert to come in and give us some guidance on that. So that closes our review of that agenda item. With that said, I would strongly encourage you before the next meeting to review with Caltrans and the state as far as their guidelines and things like that.
And contact the Public Works Director to see if you can remove it for wood cutting.
Because it sounds like there are other options more readily available that may get you what you're looking for. At the same time, this, I'm assuming, will be an agenda item next month,
Yes.
after the arborist review, so either way, you'll have a chance to have that discussion again in a month, and we'll have more information from an expert that we can make a better decision on.
And before that, I call Greg Sharp. Nice guy, you like him.
Greg Sharp.
At City Week, and tell him you want to,
That's who was out there when we were there.
yeah, did you tell him you want to keep your kids warm with wood?
Absolutely.
Good. Ask him to cut down trees.
All right, now we're gonna-
Gentlemen.
Thank you. Now we're gonna move to the next item, which is the approval of the minutes for April 20th, 2022. Are there any changes to the minutes requested? All right, well, the minutes will stand. Next is commissioners' reports. Do we have any commissioners' reports? All right, and the last item is staff reports. No additional. All right, we have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
And we have a second. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, meeting is adjourned.
On a personal note, it's his property, it's his trees.
That's my standpoint.